Hey guys, as we continue looking at some parables for our morning devotions together, today let's look at Luke 13, verses 6 through 9, and hear a story about a barren fig tree. You know, most of the parables are telling us what the kingdom of God is like. This parable is telling us what the kingdom of Israel had become. Jesus is the Jewish Messiah. Jesus was an Israelite. He was born in Israel. He spent his ministry in Israel. He celebrated the Jewish feasts. He was a Jew speaking primarily to Jews. And the tragedy of that is that when Jesus showed up, while it would have been possible for him to show up and see Israel really being a light to the nations and loving their neighbor countries and really being the demonstration of what a country that is dedicated to God can really be, taking care of the poor and loving each other and being fair and just. And instead, Jesus came and found a corrupt priesthood who's, you know, working with Pilate, working with Herod, Herod is this, regional king who is completely corrupt and filthy, and Pilate is the representative of the Roman emperor, and the church is, some want to overthrow the government, and some want to play ball with the government, and all this stuff. And Jesus comes in and goes, "Look, you guys need to know that this was not God's ideal for Israel. We were not supposed to be just trying to figure out how to respond and how to compromise and have corruption be in our priesthood. No, we were supposed to be a light to the nations." Isaiah said so. And so Jesus tells a story that really illustrates that. This is a story about a fig tree, but this is not a story about a fig tree. This is a story about what Jesus saw when he looked at his country, at Israel. And he told this parable. A man had a fig tree planted in his vineyard, and he came seeking fruit on it and found none. So this, if you are a first century Jewish person, you see Israel all over this. The Old Testament sets up God is the vine dresser and Israel is his vineyard. This is very common kind of language in the Old Testament. And so this is clearly about Israel. Israel is the fig tree. Israel is the vineyard. And he said to the vine dresser, so it's a man who owns the plantation, owns the vineyard. And he says to his head foreman, to the vine dresser, "Look, for 3 years now, I've come seeking fruit on this fig and I find none. Cut it down. Why should it use up ground?" So the 3 years thing is important. That's enough time to figure out whether this fig tree just had an off year. The soil wasn't right. There was drought. There was pestilence, whatever. Or if this tree is actually dead. And Jesus elsewhere is going to say, "Man, Jerusalem, we sent the prophets and you killed them." Israel has had opportunity after opportunity to repent, to turn to God, to be the vineyard of God that Israel was designed to be. And Jesus is looking at Israel and saying, "Look, over and over and over, you've been given ample time, ample opportunity. The patience of God has been profound as you've been called by the prophet after prophet after prophet to turn. And instead, there's this facade of turning. We have a priesthood, we have a temple, but it's corrupt. People are getting ripped off and nobody can find justice. And instead of what it should be, it really seems like this tree is actually dead. It hasn't just had a bad year. It's actually dead." So the vine dresser answers the owner of the house, of the vineyard, and says, and he answered him, "Sir, let it alone this year also, until I dig around it and put on manure. And if it should bear fruit next year, well, good. But if not, you can cut it down." So The vine dresser says, look, let me do everything I can. I'm going to loosen up the soil around it so more water can get down. I'm going to improve the soil. I'm going to put fertilizer in. I'm going to turn it up. We're going to do everything we can. We're going to concentrate on this tree, and with every hope that soon it'll bear fruit. And Jesus might even here is saying something like, Israel, you have had opportunity after opportunity after opportunity, prophet after prophet after prophet. And now I am here, the God-man himself, sent from the Father to you. Would you repent now? God, you are not going to be cut off. The temple is going to be destroyed in 70 AD. When that happens, it's not going to be, well, God never told us there's a problem. No, it's prophet after prophet. And then in Jesus' time, there you have the ministry of John, and then followed by the ministry of Jesus, where the owner of the vineyard, God himself, is doing everything he can so that Israel will bear fruit. But there's also a threat here. But if it doesn't, it's going to get cut down. I wonder if we might say, we're not under the same threat. God's not going to cut down the church, but in each of our individual lives as a church, as the church, we might all look at ourselves and say, just because we look like a fig tree doesn't mean we're fruitful. Jesus tells this story about a fig tree that has every opportunity, everything it needs to bear fruit, and still doesn't bear fruit. It's dead. You will know what kind of person you are. We will know what kind of church we are. We will know what the church means in our country and in the world by the fruit we produce. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Is this fruit falling off you? Sweet, then good. That's the vine dresser says, if it bears fruit next year, well, good. That's great. Welcome to the Christian life. It's wonderful. If you look and you say, I'm not bearing fruit, we're not bearing fruit. We're fighting fights. We're having even some victories in one area or another, but the fruit of the Spirit is not falling off of us. Well, we have to know how serious God takes that. Be fruity, man. Be loved.